welcome back to, I guess I'd call this part 2 of the PCEM 17 video. I've gotten a lot of questions in the comments to that one since Linus did a video about PCEM and boosted the searches for information on it a little bit. So I wanted to go over some things I've been asked about using it and stuff that I maybe didn't explain clearly enough in the first video. The first one I want to go over is teaching you how to make ISOs to transfer files into the emulated PC environment. The software we're going to use is, let's see here, Any to ISO, and I will link it in the comments under the video. So this is what you'll get when you open the software. And for our purposes, we're going to go over here to Folder to ISO. Browse for folder. And I'm going to go to my desktop here. And I'm going to use this folder, and I'm just going to use this folder of Doom screenshots to make an ISO, a disk image, as a demonstration. So as you can see, we have our folder here. And for our destination, we're going to go back to the desktop, and we're just going to name it Doom Pics. And we're going to hit Make ISO. And as you can see down here, here is our CD image with those screenshots on it. And you can put any files you want to use within the virtual PC environment into a folder and use that software to transform them into an ISO. Now here's a big one I forgot to discuss. That's going to require some explanation here. So we're going to boot up our emulator. It'll take a second for this to pop up since I'm running it from a command line prompt with some modifications. There we go. We'll just open my Pentium 2 machine. Yeah, we'll open this because this is going to be relevant to what I want to show you. And we're going to open Soldier of Fortune when we get the emulator running. We're not going to full screen this because the emulation speed up here is going to be relevant. Let me turn this down a little bit here. Okay, this is regarding the sound hitching bug, or not bug, I guess, issue I've been asked about a lot, and I need to explain what's causing this because it's not a bug or a problem in the emulator, it's something else entirely. So we're going to boot up Soldier of Fortune here. Which is going to demonstrate our bug. And I want you guys to watch the emulation speed up in the corner very closely. I might even crop a duplicate of the emulation speed out of that corner and show it somewhere else on your screen here. so you can see what's going on. So we're just going to run the game here. It'll, of course, take a while to load since we're emulating a Pentium 2. Okay, right there, you hear that? And you notice how the emulation speed dropped when the sound hitched right there? I'm going to play a little bit longer here to see if I can get a more. Right there, you hear that? You hear the gun sound effect double up? And see the emulation speed drop as it did it? That is because you're... There we go. That was a bad one. There too. Your sound hitching there. So, your sound hitching up there is actually caused by the emulation slowing down because the CPU cannot handle what's being, the host CPU in your actual machine cannot handle what's being asked of it. Because this is a very CPU heavy emulator because the entire virtual CPU is emulated on one core. So you can see running a very modern, relatively modern and heavy game on a Pentium 2, even my 5600X is struggling. Now hopefully that'll be something that's fixed in PCEM 18, because from what I understand, the new developer on the project is completely recoding and re-optimizing the entire emulator. So, and I will show you how to fix that, how to drop your emulated CPU down and fix that. Oops. So we're going to shut this down here. And I'm going to reboot this. Because for some reason with my command line modifications, I can't go out of a machine and back into one. The emulator will just crash if I try it, so I have to reboot the software every time I go into a new machine or close and reopen the machine. Now this is why I showed you how to use the MMX board. Because as you can see here, on our Socket 7 Shuttle Hot board, this now has a Pentium MMX 233 in it. And that 233 is denoting that it is a 233 megahertz Pentium. My pronunciation shot tonight. So you can go into here and lower this thing clear down to a Pentium 75 megahertz. And what you got to do is you just got to play with this and find the CPU that can retain 100% emulation speed or close to it on your system. Now on mine, even in really heavy games, I can usually run a Pentium 233, at least in this latest version of PCM with my modifications. But if you've got a slower CPU, like say you've got a 2600, you might drop it to a 166 or a 133. Or if you've got a beefed up i9, you might go clear up to a 300. It's just, you have to find whichever CPU your system can emulate full speed. And had to make sure I was still recording over there. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't clarify this enough the first time, but that's something very important. If you're experiencing audio hitches, chances are that is your emulation speed slowing down, and you need to drop down to a slower emulated CPU. And hopefully I explained that correctly this time. Oh. Okay, yeah, you guys experienced a jump cut because I had to think if there was any more I needed to cover before I cut recording here. So, I was asked if you can just put a CD in your CD drive and run it from there. You could. Right up here under CD-ROM, you've got a host CD drive option for that. But I would not recommend it because having to interface with your physical CD drive and read a CD rather than just a mounted ISO image can put extra strain on the software and on your hardware and lower your emulation speed. Oh yeah, I've still got my multi-pack of horror shareware I got off the Internet Archive in the CD drive of this one here. And also a question I got a couple times was to show off more Glide based games. So I'm gonna boot up Extreme Paint Brawl here. Okay, so we're back in it here after waiting for that to install. And this, I believe, is glide based. Okay, we're just going to go into instant action here. This game has a special place in my heart because I had it as a kid, and it just has the weirdest liminal game space maps. Or, excuse me, paintball field maps. And we're booting into a game with glide software mode enabled right here. Yeah, like I said, this fun fact about this game, if you see, you're seeing some of that happen right here with the Pentium 223. If you run this on a CPU that's too fast, the trajectory of your paintballs will just go nuts. But no, like I was saying, this has this real weird liminal space thing going here because there's no music, no sounds but the sounds of the players and your paintballs.
Reloading. Let's go.
So it's just this weird liminal space paintball match. But as you can see, this is running in glide mode at 800 by 600. And it's running absolutely fine. It's not necessarily a good game, but it's a nostalgic game. I'm sorry, I didn't reconfigure the controls. I'm playing this with, I didn't reconfigure the controls, and I'm actually playing this with mouse plus arrow keys. So it feels a little wonky here. I think we did all right, though. That was a lot of guys I took before somebody nailed me. Took me with them there. No, yeah, like I was saying before, if you play this on a CPU too fast, all your paintballs will just veer straight to the left or the right. And you will not hit a thing. I figured that out when I tried to play this in a Windows XP virtual machine. You pretty much have to play this on either original hardware or something like PCEM that's emulating an old CPU. Unless some maniac has made a source port for this somewhere. I don't know if we can take down those last 10 guys or not. Okay, we'll see how far I can get with my last team member here, and then we'll close this one up. No, yeah, I wanted to show this because somebody in the comments of the last video specifically asked about glide-based games. So I wanted to show some extended gameplay of this. And there we go. That was a match of Extreme Paint Brawl.
Transport 103 to Concord 6. We seal the airlock behind you and
okay, here is Descent.
Attention all personnel.
Here is Descent running in glide mode, Descent 3 to be exact. I am not used to inverted mouse controls. went backwards on myself. No, guys, that isn't a frame rate issue. I'm just really bad at the game. It's actually running pretty smooth here. Like I said, this is running in glide mode on the emulated Voodoo.
Automatic security measures engaged.
There must be some turrets. I haven't even played this one. I played Descent 2 back when I was a kid, but this is definitely bringing back a few memories. That's about enough of that, but as you can see, that was running in glide and running fine. So yeah, there's a couple of glide games demonstrated. So that's about enough for now. So hopefully that clears up some things, and I'll see you guys all later. God bless.